So the big news coming out this past weekend was that Jake Paul extended his professional boxing record to 10 wins and 1 loss by absolutely butchering bare knuckle boxing legend, icon, the face of BKFC, Platinum, Mike Perry. But let's not forget, this wasn't even supposed to be Mike Perry's fight to begin with. It was supposed to be the other Mike, Iron Michael Tyson, stepping into the ring to fight Jake Paul, Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium, live and only on Netflix. But for those who don't remember, Mike Tyson had an ulcer flare up on a flight from Miami to Los Angeles, or vice versa. Nobody really knows, which forced Mike Tyson to pull out of the fight. But there were rumors and speculation that Mike Tyson could make the July 20th date. However, Nikisa, I don't know his last name, but Jake Paul's manager said that he wanted Mike Tyson at 100% and didn't want there to be any hiccups going into this fight, meaning injury-wise. I'll get into that later. But let's talk about the fight itself. Jake Paul, Mike Perry. Many people were saying how Mike Perry would have been the perfect test for Jake Paul 3 years ago, and I agree. But now that Jake Paul has gained experience in fighting once or twice a year, he's just truly showed that there's levels to this. And by levels, I mean you could really pick and choose your matchups and who you want to fight. Because Jake Paul, he looked good the first 2 rounds. He was throwing good combinations, good punches. His first punch he threw landed right to the body that truly cracked Mike Perry in his ribs, in what he said in the post-fight press conference. But after the first 2 rounds, you could truly see Jake starting to slow down, and Mike Perry was starting to get his licks in and starting to make the fight a little bit more interesting. But when you look at the grand scheme of things overall in the fight, it was all Jake Paul. And not to disrespect Mike Perry, but Mike Perry looked like he had never been in a fight before in his life. I know many people are like, well, he's a bare knuckle boxing icon. He's 5-0 in bare knuckle. Still, boxing is a different sport, apparently, from bare knuckle because, albeit without the usage of gloves, they fight in a square. Bare knuckle fights in a circle. You can't really push anyone into a corner in bare knuckle, albeit it's way more dangerous as far as cut wise and hand placement, things of that nature when it comes to boxing. Many people thought Mike Perry would get the job done, including myself, but he looked like he never ever even stepped into a boxing ring. He had his hands by his waist, hands completely down, just being a walking zombie and doing his best impersonation of blocking the punches with his face. I'd never seen anything like it. And Jake Paul, yeah, looked like a world beater, looked like one of the best in the world because essentially Mike Perry was letting him do whatever the hell he wanted to do. Jake even said it himself in the lead up to the fight that Mike Perry was 0-1 boxing, and we see now that he definitely is all part of 0-1 in boxing. So people are upset at the fact that maybe it was too easy for Jake and Mike Perry didn't put up a good enough of a fight. And I agree. Mike Perry could have done a lot better. I thought he did do pretty good, and I thought the tide was beginning to turn in his favor when he started landing some punches on Jake. But Jake did whatever he wanted to do in that fight. I don't know if it was because Mike Perry had an off night or whatever, but still, it was truly, truly embarrassing. And many people are saying, oh, that's because Jake is a weight bully and whatnot. And here's what he had to say about that rumor of him being a weight bully the night of the fight. People say everything about weight difference, 40 pounds, 40 whatever. I was 212 in the ring on Saturday, so 10-pound difference, that's common in boxing. Still, though, many people think that Jake hasn't fought a real boxer yet. And when he did fight a real boxer in Tommy Fury, who, let's face it, is more of a reality TV star than a boxer, he lost. And there was no controversy about that. It was a straight-up L. And Mike Perry just provided no offering in this fight. Jake landed the jab at will. It's almost like Mike Perry don't even know how to dodge a punch. It was that crazy. As far as the Mike Tyson fight goes, I don't think people want to see it as bad as they wanted to when it was announced in March. I think people are slowly losing interest in that fight because they want to see Jake fight a real boxer. He's talking all this shit, calling out Alex Pereira, calling out all these top 10 boxers in the cruiserweight division, when in all actuality, he wants to fight a 60-year-old man that has no business being in the boxing ring at this point. Even Conor McGregor called him out on it, and it was absolutely scathing. Jake Paul is the biggest pissbag I've ever seen in my life. 40-pound weight difference juiced out of his head and still shitting himself in there. Nikisa, you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right. You could never. The athletic commission testing, real fighting. Bitch asses. You could never. And then calling out 60-year-old Mike Tyson, fresh off of an in-flight medical emergency? I swear to God, a fat can of piss. Most valuable pissing. In the end, though, all this is showing is that Jake Paul is proving you can play boxing, and that boxing is probably easier now than ever before if you pick and choose the right matchups. That's why all your favorite boxers go 25-0, 26-0 because they fight tomato cans and guys who everyone knows they can beat and who they can barely even train for. And then, yeah, I think that's why you see the emergence of all these freak show fights. Because of it, Jake Paul showing boxing is easy.